Hey everyone, I'm taking a look today at Hasbro's Dungeons & Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves Rakor dragon action figure.
Dungeons and Dragons!
There's some lovely artwork on the packaging. I've been wanting to get a decent dragon figure for years, especially a 6-inch scale one, which this is advertised as. And if you're going to have some Dungeons & Dragons figures, you've got to have a dragon. Now this is advertised as a 6-inch scale dragon, which implies that it would be a kind of adult collector action figure as well as for the kids, but it's got very minimal articulation, not something you'd expect from a 6-inch scale figure line. Like the head, for instance, will swivel from side to side like that, but not too far because of the spikes. The mouth opens up, which is nice, but it doesn't really close. That's as far as you can get the mouth closed. Really, if you're going to have a mouth opening and closing like that, you need it to completely close. It looks kind of weird. The way is always a bit slack-jawed. So I wish the mouth was posed in a way we could have it completely closed up. But as it is, there is some mouth articulation there. It's a bit loose as well, so it does flop down a bit. The legs go forward and backwards, but they don't go out to the side at all. There's no pivot out to the side slightly or kind of ball joint. It's purely forward and backwards for the legs, which is a bit disappointing. It'd have been nice if they were more poseable. There's no ankle articulation at all, so very minimal there. No articulation whatsoever in the tail. The wings are the part that have the best articulation, as well as swiveling around like that. They also bend out to the sides, so you can get some pretty cool poses with the wings, which is probably the most important thing, really. So it's got a pretty nice wingspan there, and you can get various different poses for the wings, you know, as if it's flying and it's got them facing forward like that, or if you want them swept back, where maybe it's landed. Or you can even have them kind of folded down like that. Looks kind of cool. Swept back, completely folded down like that. So it's landed in a relaxed pose. So I do like that with the wings you can get some nice looks out of him. I actually quite like how he looks here, as if it's just resting. And it's nice having them spread out like that. I really like that light kind of lime green detailing with the paint on the inside of the wings. And it's got that along the spines, on the back of the neck there, and on the back you can see. Then there's a kind of silvery metallic paint job under the neck going onto the chest. White for the bone spikes coming out of the side of the head and the teeth. So it's a reasonably nice paint job. But then the main bulk of the body is just black. See the fins going down the back of the neck. There's lots of spikes sticking out there, and then the scaling. But I will say the detailing on this doesn't look as good as we get from Mattel with the Jurassic World toys. You look at those dinosaurs Mattel are producing, and they've got a far more detailed, finer look to all the scales and things that are sculpted in the detailing. Compared to Mattel's Jurassic World stuff, this does look a bit cheaper and softer on the detail, as well as the lack of articulation. I like the holes in the wings. Makes it look very ragged and like he's been in a few battles. Though I don't know how he'd fly with the holes in the wings. More spikes and things along the legs. I like the vicious looking head sculpt as well. The bone horns look cool, but I don't know how practical they'd be. You see he's got a forked tongue in the mouth there as well. Nice little detail. Precise comparison, here he is next to the human characters and Dungeon Master and Uni from the Dungeons & Dragons animated series toy line, and he scales really well with them. I like how these look together. It'd be great if we could get a Tiamat to go with this dragon and these figures, but I don't think the movie and the toy line have done all that well, so I can't imagine Hasbro's going to release much more, sadly. But you can see here next to Venger and Warduke's from the 7-inch NECA line, the dragon looks a bit on the small side. I thought it'd be cool if you could get Warduke to ride the dragon, because the dragon's about the size of a horse compared to these two, but because of Warduke's loincloth and the dragon's spikes on the back, you can't get him on there. So it doesn't scale quite so well with these guys. Thanks for joining me for my look at Hasbro's Rakor, the dragon from Dungeons & Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves. It's a pretty nice looking dragon, especially for display purposes. Could do with some better articulation. The sculpting detail isn't as good as I'm used to from Mattel with their Jurassic Park and Jurassic World lines, but it does look good with these human characters from Dungeons & Dragons and scales nicely with them. And it's just nice having a kind of 6-inch scaled dragon. So thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys soon.